KUAM News Headlines is presented by Calvo's Insurance, a legacy of trust, serving Micronesia since 1938. Matson and the Adahi Itano program. Cars Plus, drive home in a brand new 2021 Hyundai Palisade equipped with Guam's only lifetime powertrain limited warranty. Call 477-7807 or visit carsplusguam.com. McDonald's of Guam, I'm loving it, and King's Restaurant, serving your local breakfast, lunch, and dinner favorites for over 45 years.
Now on primetime, one down, one more to go. Police make the first arrest for Monday's shooting in Agate. And a family of 7 is homeless after a fire ravishes their Dedito home. Plus, Cope North in full effect at Anderson Air Force Base, the story on the way.
Half a day and good evening, I'm Tyler Matanani. Police have arrested one of the suspects in Monday's shooting in Agate. He is 36-year-old Anthony Vincent Ignacio. Ignacio appeared in court this afternoon for his magistrate's hearing. Adriana Cotero reports.
It was Tuesday evening when officers responded to a 34-year-old gunshot-wounded victim at San Francisco Street in Agate. We have learned the male victim is Jesse Cruz Kidachai. He was transported to Naval Hospital for treatment. According to GPD spokesperson Sergeant Paul Tapau, the victim is in stable condition. As for the suspects, the first, Anthony Vincent Ignacio, is behind bars. On Thursday, a magistrate's complaint charges the defendant with guilt by complicity to commit attempted murder as a first-degree felony, and guilt by complicity to commit aggravated assault as a second-degree felony. According to court documents, a physical altercation occurred at the dead end of San Francisco Street in Agate. During the fight, Ignacio was driving a purple vehicle when witnesses allegedly heard him yelling at his passenger to, quote, blast him par, unquote. As a result, Kidachai suffered from a 3-inch gunshot wound to the lower left abdomen and left hand. Ignacio and his passenger fled the scene. Further in court documents, investigations revealed that a couple days prior, the defendant and the victim were arguing over text messages in which they were threatening each other and planned the fight. A witness stated that during the incident, the victim called out Ignacio to fight and began to hit the top and side of the vehicle with a black stick. This is when the passenger exited the car and shot Kidachai. GPD issued an all-points bulletin, and on Wednesday, February 17th, Ignacio self-surrendered. He appeared for his magistrate's hearing this afternoon. Assistant Attorney General Minji Kim requested a $100,000 cash bail. Although Assistant Public Defender John Morrison attempted to argue for the defendant's release, claiming self-defense under Guam Castle Doctrine.
It appears from the declaration that the complaining witness in the case wanted to fight with the defendant, and his co-defendant had been talking about doing so, came up to their vehicle, called them out to fight, beat on the vehicle with a stick, and then it appears from what's charged that the co-defendant in the case, not my client, proceeded to use force against the attacker. So it appears from this that the Castle Doctrine prohibits any criminal or civil liability, and the case should not be brought. The case should be dismissed immediately.
Additionally, Attorney Morrison argues his client was charged wrong and that the government's case is not strong. The defense asked for Ignacio to be released on a personal recognizance bond.
The allegation here is that the gentleman induced someone else to commit the underlying crime by simply making a statement. That's what's alleged. The government's case is very weak.
Magistrates Judge Jonathan Kwan allowed the government opportunity to respond. However, there were no further arguments made from their end.
Sorry, Your Honor, I honestly would have to do some more research into this.
You are sitting in the seat representing the people of Guam.
Yes, Your Honor.
Or on the record, do you have any responses?
No, Your Honor.
Judge Kwan barely found sufficient probable cause, citing the people's inability to respond to their own documentation. Ultimately, he ordered Ignacio remain held on a $30,000 cash bail. The case is ongoing as GPD continues to search for the second suspect in the case. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Adriana Cotero.
The government has more discovery to bring into evidence in Renat Shataro's case, which is scheduled to go to trial before the end of this month. Shataro faces murder charges for the December 2020 fatal stabbing of Arthur Wakuk. The defendant was wanted by police for roughly 3 weeks and was eventually located on Christmas Day. He was found with several others who were hindering his apprehension. In court this afternoon, Assistant Attorney General Sean Brown said they are expecting to receive the victim's toxicology report by Monday. In the meantime, the government has continued to conduct interviews, which he anticipates more discovery will be coming out. Jury selection will begin on Monday, February 22nd. A retired police officer and former FBI task member accused of obstruction of justice in a drug case is implicated in yet another case involving drugs. The court documents were recently unsealed in district court.
In June 2019, Audrey Jean Wolford was indicted on federal drug charges. She signed a plea agreement and is scheduled to be sentenced in May. The details of that plea agreement were unsealed in district court and describe a drug smuggling scheme between January 2013 to February 2019 to bring in meth from Washington state. She and her co-conspirator Vincent Raymond Reyes would either travel there or have packages of drugs mailed to Guam. Wolford sold meth out of her home in Barrigada and would stash a portion of the proceeds in safety deposit boxes in local banks. Enter John Boom Mantanotnia. According to court documents, Wolford and Reyes paid protection fees to the retired police officer. He would advise him on how to avoid detection and arrest by law enforcement officers. Boom is accused of advising Wolford to perform her drug transactions at local hotels, ran license plate numbers, and informed her to avoid individuals he identified as cooperating with the government. The two also had a text messaging code system when she wanted him to run a name or a license plate. The plea agreement detailed an incident that occurred on November 18, 2018, where Wolford was scheduled to pick up a package of drugs and wanted to get the all clear from Boom. He responded, quote, "So far, so good." Apparently, it wasn't, because 2 days later, when Wolford went to pick up the package, she was arrested by federal agents. After she was released, she called Boom and informed him that she was arrested and questioned him about the package, which contained 250 grams of methamphetamines. Wolford is scheduled to be sentenced on May 20th in the district court. As for Mantanotnia, in June 2019, he was indicted on obstruction of justice charges as well as conspiracy to distribute meth. He was scheduled to appear in court this past Wednesday for a status hearing, but that was rescheduled to May 18th.
The feds take down another accused drug dealer after picking up Jovan Bradbury today. Last week, he was indicted on federal drug charges, but this isn't the first time Bradbury has been in trouble with the law. He has a long list of prior arrests for drugs dating back to 2014. Additionally, just last month, he was indicted by Superior Court grand jury on drug possession charges. Local police conducted a sting operation to bring down a person they've known for the past 3 years may have been dealing drugs. According to court documents, it was in 2018 when 49-year-old Keith Regis Castro was first on their radar. One of their sources of information tipped them off that he'd been buying meth from Guerrero for several years. It was through a controlled buy that went down on Wednesday that police finally busted him. Police set him up by sending in their source of information to purchase 5 grams of meth for $1,500. During the interview with police, Guerrero allegedly admitted that he was a user and seller of meth. He was charged with delivery of a Schedule II controlled substance with intent to deliver as a first-degree felony. During a magistrate's hearing this afternoon, Guerrero was released on a $5,000 personal recognizance bond. A family of 7's home in Estumbo went up in flames yesterday. Thankfully, they all made it out safely, but have lost everything. For those wanting to help this family in need, KUAM's Adriana Cotero tells us how.
What was your initial reaction? It's a phone call no mother wants to receive.
The first thing I said, is everyone's safe. Is anyone hurt? And thank God no one got hurt, because we can't replace if I were to lose any one of them. I mean, this one, you can always replace whatever you see here, and we're losing a family.
Josefa Santos heard the devastating news straight from her son, victim Benjamin Santos, whose family, to include his spouse and 5 children, are now homeless after a structure fire left all their belongings in ashes.
It started up where he was burning egg carton for the mosquito. And I guess with the wind being strong, it kind of like blew the flame towards the other house, and when he's trying to stop the fire, he couldn't because the wind was so strong. It happened so fast where it was out of control already.
It all happened too fast. As Santos explains, it was simply too late. Once the fire started, the tin and wood home was completely consumed by flames. According to Guam Fire Department spokesperson Kevin Riley, just before 5 o'clock yesterday, units along with medics and rescue units responded to the house fire along Chalan Tumatis and Estembo Dededo. Riley says the entire structure, including 2 cars, were fully engulfed when units arrived.
There's nothing left except whatever structure is demolished.
The Dededo Mayor's office is accepting donations for the Santos family at the Senior Center from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. beginning today through next week. According to Vice Mayor Peter Beneventi, the 5 children are between the ages of 5 to 11 years old. The family is in need of food, house goods, and clothing items.
I'm very thankful for him, being here, and even late last night, he was so supportive. And even also as for the firefighters that were here, and they didn't leave until everything is cleared up.
The family stayed overnight in a tent and car on the grounds of their home. If you would like to donate directly to the family, contact Josefa Santos at 678-6230 or Janine Cruz at 671-583-9580. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Adriana Cotero.
Guam resident Charles Thomas Polvich was arrested in New York in connection to the death of rapper Nicki Minaj's father. Her father, 64-year-old Robert Mirage, was the victim of a hit and run last week. 70-year-old Polvich turned himself into authorities. According to Nassau County Police, Polvich stopped and got out of his car to look at the injured man, then returned to the car and drove off. Mirage later died at the hospital. Polvich has been charged with leaving the scene of a crash and tampering with evidence. Polvich is the owner and founder of Allied Pacific Environmental Consulting. Still to come, we head to Doña, where public health continues to offer free COVID tests, and our Nestor Lecanto has the latest from session.
Get up-to-the-minute news, plus access to alerts, streaming radio, promotions, and more on your mobile device by downloading the KUAM News mobile app, available at the App Store now.
Social distancing may be the new norm, but connection will always be our tradition. Through good times and tough times, we remain connected with you. Masks may be the new fashion, but protection will always be our style. You can always count on us to protect the things that matter the most. Sanitizing may be the new routine, but caring will always be our practice. We care about your loved ones and the things you value the most. And as we welcome our new normal, one thing remains certain: we will always be here for you. We're open and ready to serve you. Calvo's Insurance, a legacy of trust.
Bring it. First time I saw you, you blew my mind. I got this feeling everything was alright. I've never known someone like you. But when I'm with you, every day feels brand new. You.
How do you dare? You chip away at what's been built because you can do better. How do you dare? You chase away wrongs to make room for what's right. You. How do you dare? You stand while they sit and scream when they are silent. You combine your strengths to reject their weakness. You step up, stand out, and shape a new point of view. How do you dare? This is How You Dare. Introducing the all-new Elantra.
KUAM News, winner of the 2020 Regional Edward R. Murrow Award for Excellence in Social Media.
Welcome back. Public Health's effort to locate and eradicate COVID-19 on Guam continues. Here's more from the Jotnya Gym. Although the island has maintained a CAR score below 1.0 for the past 2 months, the community isn't letting their guards or masks down. Public Health held a free drive-through testing Thursday morning at the Jotnya Gym. A total of 126 tests were conducted. Although Betty Anderson is a member of the vaccination, she decided to get her first COVID test.
So I don't know what to expect. I mean, you know.
What have you heard about it?
That the needle's this long or this long.
Betty was getting the Binax Now test, which is much less invasive and produces results within 15 minutes. A quick 5-second swab in each nostril, and she was good to go. Public Health spokesperson Janela Carrera says that although vaccinations are underway, it's important for island residents to be vigilant.
As we move toward the reopening of our economy, it's important that we look toward testing, because we want to make sure that we surveil how we're doing as a community. We want to make sure that if there are positive cases out there, we're capturing those positive cases so that we're cutting off transmission of any potential virus out in the community.
And for Betty, she's stepping up, doing her part in the ongoing battle against COVID.
Yay! Negative! Those that haven't gotten the COVID test, you should come out and get tested. It's really simple.
As for vaccinations, Public Health is hosting a village vaccination clinic in the village of Agate tomorrow for eligible residents. Tomorrow's vaccination clinic will be held at the Agate Gym. It is from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. There will be 100 doses offered at the site. Although walk-ins are accepted, eligible village residents are encouraged to register with their respective mayor's office. Happy hour is expected to return on Monday, but it won't be an open bar like pre-COVID days. GHRA President Mary Rhodes, who worked with Public Health on the bar safety and health protocols, says all the now familiar precautionary measures will be in effect, such as temperature checks, face masks, and social distancing. Bars will be amongst the last businesses to reopen, and they are counting on the patrons' cooperation in order to stay that way.
The onus is really on the manager as well as the servers and bartenders, but also the customer. And I think that it's unfortunate it's taken this long. I think that they should have been open up some time ago. But at the same time, I think consumers are ready to go into bars. I think that they've been used to the protocols that have been in place in restaurants. And so I think that we've needed to change public behavior and accepted the guidelines, knowing that their behavior has to change if they're going to be going to a bar.
If customers are allowed to break the rules, the bar owners will be cited. Rhodes says Public Health has been conducting inspections at restaurants and wrote them up for not adhering to the protocols. A bill to allow GovGuam join a nationwide nurse licensure compact that will enable compact member nurses from the mainland to more easily work in Guam drew plenty of debate during the last 2 days of session. Nestor Lecanto has more.
It's not so much about off-island nurses coming to Guam to fill the perennial shortage. It's more about local nurses leaving for better-paying positions in the States once they are members of the Nurse Licensure Compact, says Senator Joanne Brown.
But why would we, under these circumstances, especially under this pandemic where we're challenged to have the healthcare professionals that we need here on Guam, open up the opportunity, the real opportunity, that more of our local nurses will leave? Because this does open that opportunity for them to do so. We've widened the exit gate.
But nurses can already do this if they choose to, and those concerns are generally unfounded. That's according to National Council of State Boards of Nurse Licensing Representative Jim Fuente yesterday, and echoed by bill sponsor Senator Mary Torres.
But I think it's really just fear-mongering. And the bottom line is, this is not a rash effort. This is an effort that began in 2018. 2018, these nurse leaders in our community have been pursuing joining the Nurse Licensure Compact. I respect them, I want to help them, I trust them.
Torres says joining the compact will make it easier for military spouse nurses already here to start working. But several senators, including Sabina Perez, point to the overarching issue. Will stateside nurses really be attracted, and will Guam's local nurses really continue to stay if historically lower salaries remain?
I think that's the solution, is pay.
For Guam's News Network, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
Coming up next, news out of the Chamorro Land Trust Commission and the Department of Education, plus details to COPE North 2021. Stay tuned.
Your community calendar is brought to you by Taco Bell. Whether it's your first meal or your fourth meal, we've got you covered. Taco Bell, live Mas.
It makes myself and it makes my team members very proud to work for an organization that has been on island for many years with its focus on reliability, dependability, and commitment to the communities that they operate in.
Matson's a great corporate citizen to the community.
We all benefit from any sort of environmental commitment we make. One of the ways that we do that is with our Adahi Utano program. There's action behind it, and so action breeds commitment.
With the Kaimana Hila coming to Guam, this brings a new age and modernization to the island.
It's exciting for me because it's a brand new ship and we can carry more freight into the islands. It just shows growth for Guam and Micronesia.
Matson would be nothing without its customers, and we hope to continue to serve you for decades to come.
You can't test this.
Introducing the new contactless debit card from Bank of Hawaii.
You can't test this.
For a safer and faster way to pay.
You can't test this.
Just tap, pay, and be on your way. It's that easy. And we're the only local bank that will be mailing a new contactless card to every debit card holder. Because when it comes to our commitment to helping you bank safely, as the song says, you can't touch this. Bank of Hawaii, welcome to tomorrow.
You can't test this.
Introducing my brand new chicken. Crispy, crunchy breading on my juicy, thickest filet yet, topped with mystery sauce and pickles on a brioche bun. My cluck sandwich combos, only at Jack in the Box.
It was a heated Chamorro Land Trust Commission board meeting as constituents were given the opportunity to voice their concerns. Some who appeared before commissioners were upset they'd been waiting more than 1 month to get an audience before the board. An instance related to the transferring of applications caused a bit of a commotion. Upon reviewing staff reports, a land agent had brought to the attention of the board that her initial report was not what was presented. The agent made mention of coercion by the director to make recommendations to approve the transfer of application rights in one instance.
Our applicants are relying on us to guide them using the law. And that is what I tried to do. I understand Mr. Haddock's point. He is trying to save your applicants. However, I am not comfortable. And he had forced me into making the change. I did not want to do it, but I felt I had no choice because he forced me to add the request to transfer application rights over to him, despite what the law says, despite the opinion of the former Attorney General.
According to the director, the recommendation was an option for the commission to consider, and that the intent was to save the application, apologizing to the land agent, adding that from this point moving forward, there will be no developments of staff reports for transfer of applications due to a lack of legal grounds on the matter, and that an amendment would have to be made to the law to allow the transfer of application in the case that the primary holder is still alive. The Guam Department of Education is hosting a series of meetings with parents and stakeholders to gather input on the millions it received as part of the Education Stabilization Fund program. During one of the virtual PTO sessions, Superintendent John Fernandez said that Guam is one of the only education systems in the nation to offer hard copy as a model of learning, which he mentioned is not sustainable in the long run as the department prepares to expand face-to-face instruction and increase the days students are on campus. The hard copy model was initially offered because they recognized that not all families had access to technology or reliable internet. However, with the introduction of the various tech opportunities, such as the 8 community learning centers, they're hoping more students will take advantage of the more modern-day approach.
A quality teaching and learning experience through hard copy when there really is minimal interaction between teachers and students, and that's if there is any interaction.
Meanwhile, GDOE is looking into allocating money into hiring tutors at the community learning centers. According to the Bureau of Economic Analysis in 2019, Guam saw its largest increase in real gross domestic product since 2012. The island's 2019 GDP increased by 2.0, adjusted to remove price changes. Economists and investors use the GDP as a measure of economic growth. In a release, Governor Lou Leon Guerrero said the number reflects the prudent approach her administration took in its first year toward fiscal spending and productivity in the private and federal sectors. The governor adding, quote, "While the 2020 GDP will likely reflect little to no growth, we are confident that through all of our efforts, including mass vaccinations, safe protocols for operations, and our economic diversification initiatives, we can shape a great economy in 2021 going forward." A local construction company has been cited by the U.S. Department of Labor and will have to pay money owed to 43 employees on Guam from the Philippines on a temporary work visa. Based on the investigation, it was determined that Asian Construction Development Corporation was willfully withholding these employees' overtime pay. USDOL's Wage and Hour Division recovered over $200,000 in overtime owed to the 43 employees. The construction company was also ordered to pay almost $30,000 for the willful nature of the violations. Another year of the multinational COPE North training exercise is underway at Andersen Air Force Base. Peter Santos reports.
If you live up north, there's a chance it might have been hard to hear the TV during dinner time with about 90 aircraft breaking the sound barrier during the COPE North annual training exercise. COPE North 2021 U.S. Exercise Director, Colonel Jared Hutchinson.
And basically the purpose of what we're trying to do with this exercise is to, validate and improve our readiness and our tactics, techniques, and procedures through our interoperability. And we do that through a couple different mission sets. The first one is through humanitarian assistance, so disaster relief. And then we focus on the more traditional air-to-air combat roles in the Combat Air Force Large Force Deployment exercise.
The annual training exercise has taken place for the last 4 decades and is a multinational exercise in partnership with the Japan Air Self-Defense Force and the addition of the Royal Australian Air Force in 2012. According to Colonel Hutchinson, the event was anything but small.
This specific year, we have a little bit over 2,300 participants from about 25 units and about 90 aircraft that have shown up. And all come together for about 2.5 to 3 weeks at Andersen to train. Those people have come from the continental United States, from Alaska, from Hawaii, from multiple different portions of Japan, and as well as from Australia.
And with the training bringing 3 different Pacific region air forces together, it's a clear demonstration that it's all about teamwork.
Training in the trilateral environment is very beneficial for our air forces and for our partners and allies air forces. We like to think that we all know the most in our own service, but that simply isn't true. And when we come together as three nations, there's a synergy that really comes about. And each nation brings unique capabilities to this exercise.
And after Cope North 2021's successful outcome, Colonel Hutchinson says he's proud that they stand ready.
So to have the opportunity to come down here and put on a show for the people of Guam and to validate for ourselves that we are in fact ready, it's very rewarding, and I'm very proud of it.
Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Peter Santos.
Don't go anywhere, your birthday shoutouts are next.
We get it. Living to the fullest is tough during COVID-19. You don't need to do it alone, and everyone needs a hand right now. We are here. Feeling overwhelmed? Call 647-8833 and let's talk. Mangagihem is a project of Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center.
Try double filet sandwich for double the flavor. Just in time for Lent for a limited time. Served all day.
And before we close out the news tonight, our latest round of birthday shoutouts from the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club.
On this February the 18th, we send extra special birthday shoutouts and happy birthday wishes to Lynn and Jerry Borhoff, whose shoutout is simply this. Happy blessed birthday, Lynn and Jerry. May the Lord bless you both with abundant life and good health. Coming from your family. That's a great shout out, everybody. Great job. Eliza Rivera, happy birthday to you, Eliza May. Your family says they love you. That's equally an awesome shout out. Great job. And happy birthday to Kaden Cepeda, whose family says we love you and happy birthday, KK. That's a great shout out. You know what? Great shout outs all around. We're batting 1,000 today, guys. Great job. They're always great shout outs. But to Lynn and Jerry, to Eliza and Cadence, we wish all of you a happy birthday, good health, good fortune. Please stay safe and have a fantastic day, because today is your day.
Remember, you can be part of the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club by registering online at KUAM.com. Please make sure to include with your photo your name and birth date. That's going to do it for us here on Prime Time. Thanks for watching. Good night.